Hey, you're listening to NAGRAޅEŚ TO, Poland's #1 comedy podcast. Who recorded this? Starring Gaweł.
So tell me again, where are you from? Where are you?
Hi, we're starting the podcast
Yeah,
now.
let's start.
Okay. Hi, this is Paul. They know. I'm from Syracuse.
They know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from a city called Syracuse in New York State.
Uh-huh.
It's like 5.5 hours northwest of New York City and about 2 hours from the Canadian border.
Mm-hmm. What was growing up there like?
I just grew up in the suburbs.
Yeah.
It was, my family life was nice. We have a good family. The city itself is pretty dull.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing there is like the Salt Museum, the Carousel Center shopping mall, the Syracuse Orange men basketball team, the university basketball team. They're always really good. The football team usually kind of sucks. Right. The American football team, sorry. I don't know, like cold winters, lots of snow, lots of snow. We have the highest amount of snowfall for any city in America, I think.
Really? Wow.
Cumulative? Yeah. One year we had like 2 meters in like a week.
Damn.
Yeah. Around New Year's.
So did you spend a lot of your younger years shoveling snow or driveways?
Oh yeah. My dad refused to get us like a snowblower. So yeah, I'm the oldest of 4 boys, so we were always out there shoveling. And when you're done shoveling, you can go sledding. When you're sledding, you drink your hot chocolate. Then you play Sega Genesis. That was like my childhood. Yeah. The summers are nice though, so we go swimming and lots of camping, lots of travel. My mom's parents are from New York City, so we would go to New York City once or twice a year, and that was always a big highlight for me. Just seeing something else, and I would,
Well, how old were you when you first saw New York City?
Oh, probably like 2 or 3.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I go there every year.
But did you have your first like conscious experience where you're like, wow, this is Times Square? Was it kind of a shock or anything? No, it's not.
I don't.
Growing up there,
I can't remember my first memory. I think it might have been the Natural History Museum. We used to go there all the time. One of my first conscious memories is probably seeing that giant blue whale they had there. Okay. That was my favorite thing. And another time I remember we got lost on the subways in Brooklyn and we wound up in Flatbush. And back then it was like the ghetto.
Right, yeah.
I remember even my parents being scared. So we had to rush back onto the train.
Yeah, I don't know. What year were you born? How old are you?
Oh, man.
Am I not supposed to ask that?
I was born...
Is that taboo now?
I'm a bicentennial baby, so I was born on the 200th anniversary of the United States, a country which was founded in 1776.
Okay.
So, do the math, I am 38 years old. I'll be 39 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. How does that feel? Being around...
Feels weird. Like I'm the
losers all the time.
Yeah, I'm the old man of the Berlin comedy scene. That's for sure. The 2 older guys have left, so I'm the oldest guy now that I can think of. It's weird because most of my friends are in their mid to late 20s, but we're all the same. Like I guess I haven't grown up at all. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about how you got into stand up, because I'm always curious what kind of journey that is for people. From way back, when did you first start interested in comedy?
Well, when I was little, I can't say this now, but when I was little, I listened to Bill Cosby, and I love Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby's, I forget which album.
You didn't know back then.
The dentist bit, that was one of my favorite bits. No, but I really got into comedy through old-time radio. Like, when I was going to bed every night, like when I was like 9, 10, 11 years old, on our local radio station, they would play like radio comedy from like the 30s and 40s, like Jack Benny, George Burns, the Great Gildersleeve, all that kind of stuff. So I would just fall asleep listening to that every night.
They would do like sketches or dialogues as well, or was it all monologues? No.
It was like
whole scenes, right?
Jack Benny, that was my favorite show. It was like the pretext, the pretense of the show was that they were putting on a show, but it was really a show about a show. It was like, all right, folks, I'm Jack Benny. Here, let's do the show. But then something would always go wrong. So it was always like, you know, the band leader would show up late because he was sleeping with somebody, or the kid who did the songs in the middle, like he would be sick, or Mary, his sidekick, she wouldn't show up, or Rochester, his butler, a very racist stereotype character, by the way, would mess something up. So it was always like what was happening around the show. So it's kind of like the Larry Sanders Show in a way, but for radio. That was one of my favorite shows, but I never thought back then, like when I was 10, that I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be either a cartoonist or a rapper or a graffiti artist. Those are my three.
Right. Yeah. I can relate to that. Were you drawing a lot or?
All the time.
Yeah. Do you still?
Constantly. No, not really anymore. I mean, I became a graphic designer, and I still do some design work, but I don't draw the way I used to.
Right.
I mean, my parents and grandparents always supported us in our draw. Like me and my brothers, we all drew. They would always give us like blank books to draw with, and like, you know, pens. Every time we went to my grandparents' house in New York City, they would make like blank notebooks for us, and we would just fill them up. Yeah. And then later, like as I got into graffiti, like in my early teens, we would take these always take a car ride down in New York City, and we'd always go through the ghetto, the South Bronx, on the highway there, and I would just like redraw all the graffiti I saw on the side of the road. Yeah.
That's cool. So I was gonna ask, like, did you have a black friend? How did you get into graffiti back then? But it was like, okay, so you're talking about what, early '80s at
late
this
80s.
Point? Okay, late '80s,
mid to late '80s.
So I guess it's just ever present.
I mean, I had a couple. I lived in the suburbs. I had a couple black friends, but I don't know. I can't remember how I got into hip hop. I think it was like Beastie Boy. No, Run DMC. Yeah. I saw Run DMC on a TV show called Reading Rainbow, which is like this kid show.
Rainbow would be kind of an interesting
it'd be cool.
premise. Yeah,
but it's this show that teaches kids how to read or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they would always have a guest, and they had Run DMC on once, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I got a cardboard mat, and I tried to break dance. Then I remember it being in the same section of the library where I got my breakdance book. Like that's how I tried to teach myself breakdancing, was from a book. And I saw a graffiti book there, so I took that out a couple times, and then I just got obsessed with graffiti. And yeah, just rap started coming popular somehow. Beastie Boys, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right.
I mean, not the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. That was the rap group's name.
Tell me about the graffiti. Did you get up a lot? Was it?
Yeah.
Can we still find your throw up somewhere?
Maybe. I think a lot of it's been gone over. Yeah.
Probably.
I got arrested for it.
You did?
Yeah. I'm proud to say I never got arrested doing it. We had this little gang. There were like 4 of us, and one of my friends got arrested with the paints he used on another job. Oh, wow. And they connected him with that, and then he ratted me out.
Motherfucker.
Fucking Nick, I tell you. Yeah. So the cops came to my house. I was like put under house arrest. Like they just like released me to the custody of my parents, basically, and then they grounded me for a month. But then we had to meet the owner of the shopping mall we tagged, and like he was so mad at us. We ended up paying $800 to him each, restitution. But I was proud that the one thing I did stayed up on the wall like for like years.
That's cool. How old were you then when this happened?
I think it was like freshman year of high school, so like 13, 14, around there.
Wow. Your parents must have been proud, no?
I don't know. Yeah, I remember giving my dad a long lecture about the importance of hip-hop culture and why we need to bring it to the suburbs. He's like, whatever, you're grounded.
Yeah, don't give a shit.
Yeah, and then, I'm trying. You asked the original question of how I got into comedy. I don't know, I guess flash forward to right around 9/11, post 9/11. It was like either right before 9/11 or right after 9/11. I was living in Buffalo at the time, and we had cable, and we were watching HBO, and they kept showing this David Cross special. Mm-hmm. It was before Shut Up You Fucking Baby. I can't remember the name of the special. The Pride is Back. David Cross, The Pride is Back. And I just loved it. I don't know. I hadn't seen comedy or even thought about comedy in like a decade. Like the previous comedy I'd listened to was like Dennis Leary in like 1992. Okay. No Cure for Cancer. That was the last comedy I ever listened to. And then I saw this David Cross dude. I had no idea who he was. Like I sort of recognized him from TV or whatever. You know David Cross.
Yeah, yeah, from Arrested Development.
Yeah. So I remember seeing that, and then I remember 9/11 happening and everything being fucked up, and then he puts out that amazing album, Shut Up You Fucking Baby, which is like just absolute devastating critique of like post 9/11 Bush America.
It's true, yeah.
And at the time I was moving to Colorado, And I just remember I drove from New York to Colorado just listening to that album on repeat. And that's when I got obsessed with comedy again.
Yeah.
I would say. Then I started listening to all his stuff and all Patton Oswalt. Then I got into Dane Cook, who I actually like. Like, you're not supposed to like Dane Cook, but I like him for what he is, you know?
Sure, yeah.
He's not the smartest dude, but I think in terms of, like, delivery and just silliness and the way he uses his voice and his body, he's very interesting.
Yeah, he's good at what he does, obviously, yeah. I don't know if he's not a smart dude, or he just chooses to do this kind of comedy rather than another. I mean, I don't know. Have you met him or something?
No, I haven't met him.
Judgment?
No.
Obviously, I'm guessing, but
no, I think he's an intelligent guy.
Yeah,
it's more just like he kind of appeals more to like the bro humor side of things.
Yeah. The aesthetic choices, I guess. Yeah. Was there anybody? So David Cross, you'd say, was like a key inspiration, kind of.
I'd say so. Yeah.
At that point, at least. Yeah,
definitely.
That's interesting choice. I don't think he's a guy that's ever kind of named as top stand-up comedian. He's done a lot of interesting stuff, right? But people don't really claim him that much. But he has he just writes like it's obviously his own shit. I feel like he doesn't really care.
Yeah. Well, then
he's received.
Yeah. Then I retroactively discovered Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
I still haven't seen more than a couple episodes. I need to.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, like, he's one of those like maybe unsung heroes of the American comedy world, in that he does sketch and stand up, and there's not many that can do both. And I mean, the next album after the Shut Up You Fucking Baby, I can't remember.
I don't remember
the name
title.
of it.
I don't think. I listened
Pride
to that
is
one.
Back or something.
Okay.
I mean, it's all right. It's not as good as the first one, but it's just his attitude, and like he was the exact right voice for that moment in America when the left like really had not found its voice yet after the shock of 9/11 and Bush being elected, which is actually the bigger shock. I shouldn't say that, but
why not? I mean, it's not. Yeah, I think I remember hearing him say in an interview or something that his first dozen or so performances were not good. Like, he was saying that he bombed more than 10 times until he had a good show. I don't know how much of that is lore or whatever, but I find that kind of impressive, or just I don't know, surprising to me, because I would have given up way before that, you know, like if I had 6 shitty shows in a row. What were your experiences when you were starting out? How was where did you first get on stage?
It was 2006. I was in Colorado. I had just been dumped. I was supposed to move to Austin, Texas with this girl, and at the last minute she's like, maybe you should stay there. So I was pissed, and I just started. There was this open mic down the street from me in Boulder at the Red Fish Brewery, and I went to a couple open mics, and I'm like, these guys suck. I can do this.
All right.
So I'd
sentiment.
I would I'd go in my basement. I had a basement at the time. It was awesome. I had a band with my brother then too. And I would just I'd grab a beer and I'd just start ranting about whatever I was like passionate about and just write it down. And then I did my first 2 sets, I think, were good. I think I have them both on tape somewhere. I think they were pretty good. And I think it was the second or the third one.
You got laughs anyway.
Yeah, I got laughs. I also brought all my friends to my first couple. Big classic newbie mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Bring all your friends to your first gigs. But then, like, this was, 2006. There weren't that many people in the scene. And people weren't as discerning in terms of like what kind of humor they were doing. So I just remember everyone had like AIDS jokes, abortion jokes, rape jokes. No, this is before the rape joke craze. This is more AIDS time. This is AIDS joke. This is the AIDS joke era.
Yeah, when AIDS was becoming hack material.
Yeah. No, it was actually in the middle. It was right before becoming hack. Crack Baby was the hack at that point. Really? Crack. Yeah, and I don't know. I'd do like 3 or 4 gigs a week, and they were always very poorly attended, like 5-10 people in the show. It was like the Redfish, and the rest were in Denver, so I had to take a bus for an hour and go to Denver to do a show, get a 5-minute spot in front of like 5 people and a bunch of comedians who hated me and I hated them, and it was just like there was not a good vibe. There's not a very supportive atmosphere. They'd talk shit about each other in the back, and I also didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I just
it wasn't a community or anything.
No, it wasn't a community feeling. And it was kind of before this current comedy boom too. But I don't know. I just got worse and worse. It seemed like the more gigs I did, I got worse. Then I went to the Squire Lounge, which is this notorious open mic on what the hell's the name of that street? I can't remember the name of the street, but Colfax. It's the notorious street in Denver, and it's this disgusting dive bar. And these guys, they've been running a show there forever at the Squire Lounge. It has a reputation, and I think well deserved, of being the meanest open mic in America.
Jesus. Because
not only the crowd hates you and heckles you and is shitty to you, but the hosts they talk shit about you like before and after you get on stage.
Wow.
And I just ate shit there. But I remember Ben Kronberg was there, and he was like becoming the star. He had just been voted like funniest man in Denver, and this is right before he moved to New York. Do you know who he is, Ben Kronberg?
I don't think so, no.
You'll know who he is very soon. He's like one of the leading alternative comedians in the New York scene right now.
It's possible I've seen him even, but I don't recognize his name.
He has a beard and glasses, and he always has a little notebook on stage with him.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen some stuff from him.
Yeah. Very deadpan, very, very funny stuff. He actually came to Berlin last year. I remember seeing him just fucking smash it, and I was shit. And I think I actually requested a joke from him in the bathroom before he went on stage because I had known his stuff. He doesn't remember this, but yeah. But after that show, I was like, oh, fuck this, and I quit. So I tried stand-up for 6 weeks, and I quit.
Yeah?
Yep. Then I got into improv, and I did improv, and I liked that better back then. So
how long before you got back into stand-up? Or not until you moved to Berlin?
Not till I moved to Berlin, Germany, capital of stand-up. Capital of laughs. So I guess that was late 2008. Yeah, I was in Berlin. I was doing improv there with the Laugh Olympics, which is now comedy sports. And my friends had this poetry night, and I wrote some weird poems. And the only ones they got any response from were the ones that were funny. So I was like, oh, maybe I could do that stand-up thing again. Right. And then some of the guys in the improv troupe, they wanted to do stand-up too. So we started our own night. So in 2009, we started our first night in the modern Berlin alternative English stand-up scene. It was called Comedy and Sin. I started with my friend Ray, and that's where everything started. That's where everything began for me as a comedian. 2009.
So you studied graphic design, you said?
Yep.
Apart from comedy, what were you doing before? What just all kinds of regular jobs, or did you work in your field? Or
I don't know. I worked for this Buddhist organization in Colorado when I was there as a graphic designer, and then I moved to Berlin and got a series of freelance jobs for different startups.
Okay.
They all failed, and then I worked for 2 years for a virtual world thing, like kind of like a German ripoff of Second Life, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just about to quit and move to Manchester because I want to do English comedy there, and then they fired me. And under German law, if you get fired after working a place full time, you get paid like a year's worth of salary, like while you look for a new job. Yeah,
year's worth.
Well, 70%.
Okay,
it's called Arbeitslosengeld 1, and I qualified for that. So. That kind of funded my comedy career for a while.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that on the air, but fuck you, Germany.
I have some fucking Germans from bureaucrats show up at my door wanting evidence.
Yeah.
So you moved to Berlin in 2009? Is that or
no? I moved there
that,
end of 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, September 2007.
How did you get from? Because the last place you lived before was New York or
Boulder,
Colorado. Yeah, Boulder.
Yeah.
How did you get from all the way from Boulder to Berlin?
That's a crazy story, man. I was dating this girl at the time. We were living together in a house.
There's always a girl involved.
There's always a girl. Fuck. We were living in a house together. We had a business together. It was intense.
Wow. Okay.
Just around each other 24/7, like arguing about business. Like we sort of broke up, but we were still together. It was just all confusing, and that lasted about 6-7 months. And then there's this one night I remember we had this huge argument because we had to pay the rent the next day, and we didn't make any money that month with our business. We were blaming each other, society. I don't remember what happened. And then we went to bed, and then we heard all this banging upstairs, and we go up there, and the girls upstairs, these 3 hippies are living up there, and they're like, fire! So basically they had a dinner party, which they didn't invite us to, by the way, and they had these plastic like candelabra things that were mounted to the wall, and they got stoned and forgot to put out the candles, and the flame went down the candelabra onto the wooden wall and just burned the whole house. Wow. So the whole top of the house was destroyed. I mean, there were 6 of us living there. Out there, we all got out in time, but the whole top was destroyed. There was a piano up there. The keys got melted together. They had like all their. The best part was the room where they had the dinner party. These girls were fashion designers, but they were doing like environmentally friendly fashion using recycled paper.
Okay.
So they had all these giant paper dresses they'd been working on. So those, poof, they were gone, you know. And then we had a lot of smoke and water damage. There were like 8 fire trucks there, like 40 firemen. It was nuts.
Jesus.
So then the next month or two, like we were trying to figure out what to do. We were trying to figure out if we wanted to keep the business going. It was like a design company. Yeah. We mostly did like WordPress customization and branding for people.
Okay.
We were trying to figure out if we wanted to keep the company together or work virtually. Then we were like, oh, let's go traveling. So we were trying to plan this European trip together. We were going to do this whole thing where we'd go to like obscure Eastern European countries and try to rebrand them or something. I can't remember. It was like the Remarkabillions tour or something. We wanted to make people.
You had a whole concept, yeah?
Yeah. We were very inspired by like Seth Godin and the Purple Cow and all that stuff. And and then we read the book The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. Okay. And he tells it's all about how you create your own online business that basically runs itself, so you only have to work 4 hours a week. It's a lot of bullshit. But I remember in that book he said that Berlin was one of his favorite cities to live in because you had a high quality of life compared to how much you had to pay for that. So I was like, well, let's go there. And she had spent some time in Germany as an army brat and did not want to go back to Germany. Okay. She's like, you go there and we'll meet somewhere else. And then I just ended up staying, and she ended up staying in America.
Okay.
So
she never even left, yeah?
No, she ended up getting married, which only lasted a year. And she's, as far as I know, in Mexico now. Okay. So, yeah. And
selling,
stayed.
Working for the drug cartel, or?
No. probably tech stuff.
Yeah.
I still talk to her. But yeah, I was done with America. I was done, I was still in the middle of the Bush years. And I was just sick of the positivity of Boulder, Colorado. It's this very new age, wannabe progressive Buddhist place.
Right, yeah.
And it's a lot of upper middle class white people talking about how conscious and aware they are. Meanwhile, Mexican immigrants are doing all their laundry and all their cooking. And it's just it's new age. It's like spirituality minus politics. That's what it is. Okay. And I just got sick of it. And no one would talk about politics or economics or any of this stuff. And then I moved to Berlin, and it was immediately, this is what I wanted, It was dark, it was gray, it was flat, no one was smiling, everyone looked like shit, no one was healthy, they were just smoking and drinking all the time. Yeah.
You like that?
Yes.
You like the contrast of
after Boulder and the whole tech startup entrepreneur scene of Boulder, and just we gotta do yoga and then work on our startup and our blog and meditate and blah, blah, blah. I got so sick of that.
South Park get some inspiration from there. Yeah, I mean, definitely from Colorado, right?
They went to university in Boulder. Okay. And there's actually references to Boulder in South Park. There's a Kilkenny Road right outside of Boulder.
Oh, there is?
And a chef's son. Chef is a real guy. Daddy Bruce is his name. I think he's dead now, but he ran his barbecue in Denver. Oh, wow. And his son, I guess Sonny Bruce, I don't know, he runs the barbecue joint in Boulder. So you see him, he looks like a big chef. He's really it's interesting. Yeah, so when I moved to Berlin, I'm like, yes, this is the exact opposite. This is exactly what I want.
But when you came there, you didn't have a job or anything. Yeah, you had to kind of start from scratch, or?
Yeah, I sold my car, so I had a couple $1,000 in the bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So first 3 months, I just partied basically.
Yeah,
I tried to.
And then you're like, oh shit, I got
Yeah, was an American in Berlin. I don't know how it is for the rest of the Schengen, but in Berlin you get 3 months tourist visa as an American, so you don't have to do anything. You just have to have a passport, basically.
Sorry, man. I'm gonna go get some water. You want some water as well?
No, I'm okay with the coffee, thanks. While Gawel is away, I'll describe where I'm sitting right now. I'm in a very old Soviet housing project type building overlooking the Warsaw TV area. And then to my right is Mordor, apparently, and there's just this constant banging and hammering, which sounds like the orcs from Lord of the Rings. And they're banging away, they're refurbishing this building, apparently. We have buildings just like this in Berlin. They're called Plattenbau or Neubau. And the farther out in East Berlin you live, the more neo-Nazi-ish it gets, which is weird because most of those guys are Russians, and I don't think Russians are friends with Germans, but apparently they are. And there's also Vietnamese people everywhere, and that's called Marzahn. That's where I used to go to German school, and this area reminds me of that. I'm just talking to myself.
Enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. So where were we?
This is just like what the fuck, man. He's always got some neighbor making noise. He's got to yell at, WTF with Mark Maron.
Does he do that?
He's always got this guy who's like blowing leaves next to him. He's always got to yell at him. His name's like Kenny or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess he's out in the garage. So.
Give me 10 more minutes. Iggy Pop is here. You know.
You like Mark Maron?
Yeah, I used to listen to it all the time. When I had an office job, I listened to podcasts constantly, and that was one of my favorites. I get a little sick of it now.
Of people talking about themselves, yeah. Or
just his first 10 minutes of him talking about himself.
Oh yeah, like, you don't fast forward that part.
I do now. Yeah. I used to listen to it. Yeah. Now I'm sick of it.
Do you still watch a lot of stand up or?
I'm kind of ashamed to say I don't watch as much as I should. I think every comedian should be a student of the form and be a fan. And yeah, I mean, for years I watched constantly. I listened to every special, and now I basically get my stand-up comedy news, or I find out like who the new cool stand-ups are from my German comedy friends, like,
really?
Or German or Russian comedy friends in Berlin who are all obsessed, and they'll tell me, "Hey, did you hear the new Pete Holmes? Like, I didn't even know it was out. Yeah, I got it."
That's cool.
It's kind of embarrassing for an American to have to learn that from.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't there a point where you kind of maybe have to? Well, you either won't have time, or maybe it's even wise to not watch as much because you just. I feel like if I watch too much comedy, it's also too easy for me to accidentally steal a joke or just like. Yeah. I don't know. When I watch a good special, I'm kind of thinking in that comic's voice. I feel like for the next couple hours sometimes. Yeah. And
yeah, it's true.
I mean, you want to know what's going on, right? But I really don't need to maybe see like the new Aziz Ansari special or something.
Yeah, and you don't need to see that. There's no reason to see that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I hit this point where I just could not stand listening to American stand-up anymore. It just bored the shit out of me.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was like, I don't know. I'm sure he's good, but I think I started listening to like Rory Scovel or somebody. Okay. Everyone loves him. I just didn't get it. Like I listened to the first 5 or 10 minutes. It's like, why is this more special than the rest?
Yeah.
But that's partially personal stuff. Like I go to New York City every year and I try to like do some sets there, break into the scene, and it's just constant middle class white dude stuff, and I just get so. And I'm a middle class white guy as well, but I just get sick of us, our voice, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And when I see more and more middle class white guys talking about, I don't care. I just don't care. Yeah. Especially because my favorite comedians are some of my friends in Berlin. Like one of my favorite comedians is my friend Carmen, who's from Lebanon. She grew up as a Catholic Lebanese, Arabic and French speaker. Yeah. She performs in English. It's her 4th language. She also speaks German. And her perspective on the world is just very fascinating to me.
Right.
Like she was actually in Paris during the attacks, just hanging out with her French friends. And she was the one that had to calm everyone down because she's used to bombings and terrorist attacks and stuff growing up in Beirut.
That's crazy.
So she was like the voice of reason in Paris during that time.
Damn.
And like, you know, I don't get that perspective from fucking
most white guys from Syracuse.
Who's that other guy I can't stand? I'm sorry, I just don't. I want to like.
Come on, let the hate pour. Let's do this.
I haven't even committed brain cells to remembering his name. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But somebody that's kind of big now, or
Kurt Braunohler, is that his name?
Oh yeah.
I draw
blonde guy in glasses. Yeah,
I can't stand that guy. I don't know. Yeah, there's I like Lee Camp. It's weird that he works for Russian TV, but Lee Camp is a very political, like very radical left wing comedian. Yeah, he's like 30-something. Mm-hmm. His George Carlin's daughter introduces him on his 2nd album as the heir to her father's legacy.
Seriously?
Yeah, Lee Camp is dope. Yeah, well, everyone likes Stuart Lee now. I like Stuart Lee.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, but I can't listen to every comedy album by every white middle-class American comedian that comes out now. I just can't keep up, and I don't care. Sure. I'd rather listen to stuff about politics or stuff in German or just like audiobooks. Like last week, I spent the whole week listening to H.P. Lovecraft in German. Just
really?
Like practice my German.
How is your German?
It's all right. It's not as good as it should be.
Yeah. You don't really need it when you're in Berlin.
Not really. Like, that's the problem. And like, I even have a German girlfriend, and we mostly talk in English because her English is basically perfect. So
sure.
But the German scene is getting better now. Like for a long time, Germans were embarrassed of their comedy scene, mostly because of a guy named Mario Barth, who was like an even worse. Like imagine Dane Cook with no brains and more hair gel.
Okay.
And slightly racist.
Yeah.
Maybe.
More like Carlos Mencia? Or?
Yeah, in that
no,
vein.
But not that style, yeah?
Yeah. But imagine if Carlos Mencia filled out the Olympiastadion, that big stadium that Hitler built. That's
a nice framing of it. You know, that stadium that Hitler built.
That's Mario Barth, and he's the most famous comedian in Germany, and everyone I know hates his guts.
Wow.
I don't know how he has a fan base. So a lot of would-be comedians in Germany, in German scene, either become like slam poets, and you can do funny slam poetry and do really well, or they become cabaretists, which is where you talk about very serious topics, and like every 5 minutes there's a laugh.
Oh, okay.
But they don't go down the middle with stand-up. So since we've had this English scene in Berlin since 2008-9, a bunch of like bilingual comedians have come up through our scene, gotten inspired, so they've created their own shows in the German scene. So now there's this emerging German alternative stand-up scene in like bars and cafes, the way we do it, and not at the theaters and the old school places.
So you guys kind of mix? You'll have nights where you have people performing in German and in English, or?
Actually, my friend Carmen produces a show called Comedy auf Deutsch, which is exactly that. It's half German, half English, and it's one of the most popular shows in Berlin, and it takes place in like a squat.
Oh, okay.
For just for donations.
Sure.
And like it's like when I say standing room only, it's mostly just standing. Like there's like 3 benches, and like everyone else has to stand.
Oh, really?
And 100 people in like a bar like maybe twice the size of your living room, and it's one of the best shows in the city.
That's cool. And that works, because I always thought standing room stand up is not a good idea, that people
well, it's such a good show that it works, I guess. And also she has a Volkskuche, like free food before it. So it's a nice night.
That's cool.
And the drinks are cheap.
Is there anybody in Germany that is known for doing stand up in English? No, not at this point. Like the guy, the stadium guy. What's his name?
Mario Barth. Does he do it in English?
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't do English.
Thank God.
No, just German. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple. The biggest one is Michael Mittermeier. He's like the second most famous German comedian.
Okay.
He's from Bavaria. He's a great Bavarian accent, and he has busted through in London. He's done Fringe Festival, Edinburgh Fringe, and stuff. And he's friends with Eddie Izzard, and Eddie Izzard has come to Germany. Eddie Izzard did a show last year in German.
Oh, cool. In German?
Yep.
Oh,
he did a month-long residency at this one club, and each night he would memorize another page of the script. Like his brother's a linguist, and he translated his English script into German. So each night he would do another page. So if you saw the first couple shows, it was mostly English, but the last show was all in German, and the German's perfect.
Wow.
So it was a very good show.
Yeah, I've heard him. I've heard he performs in French and stuff.
He's done French, German. I think he's working on Russian. I want to say Spanish.
Yeah, he mentioned Spanish. I think that's crazy.
Maybe
that's
Arabic. But
Arabic?
He's also,
wow, that would be interesting.
But he's also running for mayor of London in a couple of years.
Oh, is he?
Yep, it's true.
I think I heard gossip about that. I didn't know it was confirmed.
Yeah, there's another guy, Paco Erhardt. He's a friend of mine. He's less well known. Well, he's actually gotten big in like the fringe circuit, like the English speaking world, and now he's trying to bust into the German scene as a German who got famous as an English speaking comedian, and now trying to bust back into the German scene.
Coming back,
yeah.
I feel like that's what a lot of. I mean, I can't apply it to comedy, but a lot of Polish artists end up doing that, or I don't know. They get more recognition when they're coming back from the States, or they're like musicians or whatever, or they're recording from over there. Yeah, it's like some kind of legitimization or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And then, now we'll pay attention to him. You know, even though he's doing the same thing as 10 years ago, but more or less. Okay, but can you see English stand-up on TV in Germany, or no? No,
I don't think so. I think once or twice someone may have performed.
Okay.
There's this one popular TV show called Night Wash, and it's like a stand-up showcase that takes place in a laundromat. And I think my friend David Deary, he performed in English on there once. I think it got on the air, maybe it was just on the internet. But yeah, they're not letting English on TV really.
Okay, but German stand-up is present.
Yeah, and there's several well-known younger comedians now who perform in both languages, who sort of came out of our scene, like Johnny Armstrong, Vincent Pfefflin, and my friend Stefan Danziger, and they all perform in both languages.
That's interesting. So you're saying that you're responsible for nursing all these talents coming out of
our scene? Yeah, partially.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's other, there's an English scene in Cologne and in Dusseldorf, and there were already English shows in Berlin happening, but there weren't that many. There's like one or two a month.
Yeah.
When we started, but now it's like one or two a night.
Cool. And that's your sole occupation now, or you do other stuff still? Yeah, you got to do other things.
I wish. I'm only paying about half my living from that, so I still have to do some freelance work. Lately, for this summer, I was working for like an Amazon supplier.
Oh yeah,
doing just like graphic art stuff or like boxes, like packaging stuff. Like it's pretty low.
Yeah,
I'm trying. Yeah, but
I mean, I guess it might be better than packing the boxes themselves, but I don't know.
I was packing the boxes.
Oh, okay.
I was packing the boxes.
I'm sorry.
We would get shipments of stuff from China and take the labels off and then put German labels on them and then send them to Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I was doing that.
Damn.
That was pretty embarrassing, man.
So what else? Stripping, prostitution?
Yeah,
no.
I did
none of that.
I did strip once, or I did like.
You got paid for it? Or
no, I didn't get paid.
Voluntarily?
I performed. No, this friend of mine got married, and they hired me as the entertainment for their hen party. So I came out as like the sexy tennis instructor, and I sang to Bon Jovi, "You Give Love a Bad Name."
Damn.
And I got down to like my string Tonga G-string thing, and then I was like, I had tennis balls like in my crotch, and I was throwing them at people. Yeah, but I didn't have my glasses on, so to this day I still meet people that were at that party that I didn't know were there. They're like, hey, I saw you strip at their thing. Like, you were there? Oh shit, I didn't know that, Mom. No, my mom
did
was
it? There. Yeah. Did it help your confidence not seeing the audience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder about that. Ever performing with? You ever try to do stand up without your glasses?
Whoa, living on the edge.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
Yeah, I probably have, like in character or something.
Okay.
I've done a bunch of character stuff. So yeah, I mean that's all right. I'd rather have them on because I like to interact with at least the first couple rows, and I want to see like their faces,
Yeah, I mean, if somebody says something or does something, I want to be able to see their face or even recognize who it is. I wouldn't without glasses, probably.
It's very important for me to make a connection with people.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of crowd work and stuff?
Yeah, that's why I host my own show every Tuesday. I've hosted an open mic every Tuesday for 5 years, and yeah, it's a big thing. Like I try to challenge myself to not do any material, to just do crowd work or reactions off the previous comedian. Or yeah, I think that's definitely helped me as a stand-up. If any of you guys want advice, I would say start an open mic and host it, and you will learn a lot about stand-up doing that. Yeah,
that's a lot of experience. How many shitty comedians have you seen perform? Is that
too many?
Can you give
hundreds?
Give us a number. Yeah,
hundreds.
No, really, hundreds.
I've seen
a lot of people that come just once and never show up again.
I mean,
or
I don't think there's any shitty comedians. There's just people that don't get it. Like I've just seen so many people start from scratch and absolutely suck, and then gradually get better just through experience and working hard. I don't think there's any shitty comedians. There's just
No, that's your liberal background talking, isn't it? No, I just want to.
It is. It is. Yeah. But
I partly agree with you. But I mean, there are some people who just really just shouldn't be doing it, right? I
mean, there's some people who like morally I don't agree with. They're just fucking evil, and
that too. But
they might be a good comedian, but they're assholes. Like I don't want to see this person either. Like I see more of that. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You mean who they are personally, or on stage what they represent, or what they say?
Like it's less so maybe in Berlin, but just obvious sexist, misogynistic, stupid shit.
We got a lot of that here.
I can't stand it. I mean, I did plenty of that stuff starting out. It's just like you want to get a reaction out of the audience, and you think this is how you do it. Yeah,
go for the easy flat joke or whatever.
It
gets on your nerves, I can tell. Yeah,
it gets on nerves.
So, but there's kind of a community, like, or you have at least a small circle of friends or other comics that they work with or whatever. But it's not like everybody knows everybody, or
no, they do.
They do
more or less. Actually, it's getting a little bigger now. There's a couple new comedians I don't know. I see names now that I don't recognize.
Right. Yeah.
But we all do each other's shows, so it's only a matter of time before I meet these people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely expanded to the point where, like, last Thursday, this was a first in our scene. We had 4 English shows on one night.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
At the same venue?
No, 4 different venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah,
And you still got decent turnout, or somebody had to suffer?
At my show, we had a good turnout. Yeah, I think they all had enough audience to have a good show.
Yeah.
Like, it's harder to perform for 5 than it is for 20.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the thing I liked about the Berlin scene is that, like, me and my friend Caroline, we've been doing our show for 3.5, almost 4 years. And she's, like, a burnout from the London scene. Like, she was, like, an up-and-coming comedian to watch in London. And she got sick of it. She couldn't handle the politics and the backstabbing and all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had a taste of that in Denver. And then definitely whenever I go to New York City, I get a feel for that. And we wanted to have a scene where it was more communal and supportive. Mm-hmm. And the fact that there's no way to go up, like there's no money really, and there's no like TV deals or anything waiting for you.
Not a clear path.
Anyway, it has to be a scene of people just doing it for the love of it, and therefore like it's less competitive and less backbitey.
Yeah.
But when you get into the German scene, like then it is more competitive like that. And
yeah, because they have that perspective of what, a TV deal or something.
Yeah. So there's more egos involved.
I don't know how much you know about that, but there's like. Is there German stand-ups that went on to do sitcom or whatever? Do they have that, or
maybe not this generation? I'm sure that's happened, but my favorite German comedian is Bastian Pastewka, and he has a show called Pastewka. It's like basically German Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he started as a sketch guy from the Woken show, so. He never did stand-up, he does sketch. But he'll do, like, one-man sketch and call it it's stand-up.
Yeah.
But there's no path like we had in the States, like in the 80s. Like, you get your, you know, everyone loves Raymond, you know. You start up as a great stand-up, then you get your sitcom, Seinfeld, and then you're a billionaire.
No, I mean, that's no longer true for the U.S. either, right?
No,
I
don't think so.
Not at this point.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's something that disgusts me, actually. Is like, especially in New York now, like when they promote a showcase, it's always just a list of comedians and then their credits. He's been on Conan, he's been on this, he's been on that. Like, everyone just wants to be on TV. I mean, I guess they have to do that for money, but I don't understand why you want to be part of that establishment of the fuckers that lie to people. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm from a very left wing liberal family.
Yeah, strong convictions. You wouldn't go on TV if they asked you.
I don't know. I think I have
Conan or whatever.
I think I have been on TV. I don't remember. In Germany.
Okay.
I've been on TV? I've been in movies. I don't know. Maybe.
German movies or English language movies?
German movies.
Okay.
Just one or two. Just short spots. I don't know, man. If I could use it in a way where I would get money that I could devote towards causes I believed in, I guess. If I could use it as a platform, I would. Yeah. But if I got censored, like this guy, Jamie Kilstein... He's even more to the left than Lee Camp. Like, I think he was on Conan or something. He got censored either there or on Letterman. I can't remember.
Completely, or they just cut his material?
Yeah, there was this whole bit about war or something, and they took it out. I don't know. He's just, and then they cut to commercial, and it's like fucking GE or someone else that makes weapons or something like that, or some oil company that's destroying the planet.
It's NBC, right? Or no, not at this point, but if we're talking about NBC, that's basically GE, right? So. Or at least it used to be. It's
all the same mafia. Yeah. I don't, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
I don't draw distinctions.
Right, yeah.
And I just don't know why people want to be part of that establishment. I like live comedy. This is my point. I like live comedy. I like being there, people in my face, in a basement, dirty floor, fucking shit falling off the ceiling, just weird-ass, like, drunks from, like... I got this friend, he's from Syria. He's in the front row heckling every show. Like, you know, I got this friend from, you know, Russia who does comedy. Like, I just like crazy mutants that come through the Berlin scene. That's what I like. And live and just hanging out and having a good time. That's what matters.
I mean, I guess as far as American talk shows or whatever, people do that because they're hoping it'll lead to something. Yeah, they want the exposure, and they can put maybe on their poster, I was on Conan. But I think even at this point, it's not even that big a deal anymore. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a big deal for a comedian to be up there, but he's not going to get anything out of it, and especially not money, I think.
Yeah, it's like feudalism.
People go back to performing in basements, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like your, what?
I was gonna say it's like feudalism.
Oh, okay.
Like having those credits is like having the stamp of approval of your lord of your manor who says that you can go to the next manor or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You know, maybe people still think like, you know, Johnny Carson days or whatever. It's like, okay, you were on the Tonight Show. That means, you're recognized in the business or whatever as being a professional or something.
I think comedians need to find other ways. We all artists need to find better ways of supporting ourselves than having to suck dick. Suck corporate dick. We need to find ways to support each other. Yeah, we need to basically need a global union of artists to tell these assholes to fuck off.
All right, all right, give me a piece of paper. Let's write a manifesto. We'll start right here.
I'll write manifestos, man.
Yeah.
I write manifestos all day. I can't even say the word. I write manifestos all day.
Yeah, a different one every day. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. But you do have like strong political convictions or things that you try to get social messages in there into your material.
Yeah, I mean, I say this, but my act is not so political or social. I'm trying to push it more in that direction. But when I start off, I do the easy stuff about traveling in Europe and that kind of stuff. Just trying to relate to people, talking about local things, or just like light stuff about my family or background. But yeah, like last year, this gets heavy. But last winter, my brother passed away of cancer. He had a melanoma, skin cancer. He was like sick for a while. I guess we were expecting it, but it still sucked. Yeah. And like the same week that happened, or a week or two after, it was a month after. Anyways, the Michael Brown verdict came out, where the police in Ferguson were acquitted of murdering Michael Brown, and then a week later the Eric Garner verdict came out, and then again that was a guy in New York City who was killed by the police, innocent guy who was killed by the police, who was murdered by the police. So all these protests popped up, so like this lit up the old lefty in me, so I started marching every fucking day out there. And so I have this whole new bit about being on the streets of New York City, like tying up traffic and stuff, like at rush hour. We stopped like Fifth Avenue at rush hour. Right. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this on the air, but but I have a whole new bit about doing that. And then I try to talk about why I got involved in that stuff in the beginning, coming from a political family, what was political about my family, having a grandfather who would listen to Noam Chomsky every day before dinner. When I was very little, I was in a protest at an Air Force base with my parents. Okay. I was kind of joking about the liberal upbringing, but I guess I kind of hit the mark. Yeah, maybe, Any people from Solidarity listening? Yeah. What's up, Lech Walesa? Is that his name? Lech Walesa, yeah. I'm sure he's not listening, but yeah. Is he still alive, by the way? Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, he's tweeting and stuff. He's tweeting. Yeah. Lech Walesa is tweeting. I think so, or Instagram or something. He'll post these funny pictures of him like visiting Polish people in Chicago or whatever. Okay. And it's just it's like, okay, former president, union leader, whatever, and like kind of renowned figure, but he's just always that same guy with the mustache, and it's like when you see that, that's like, you immediately know, okay, Polish people, that's what Polish people look like of that generation, and like immigrants. It's just there's so much atmosphere there. But I don't know. I don't know what he's doing now. He's pretty old, I guess. Yeah. Have you read? You probably haven't, but there's this book called The Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein. No, I mean, I know, I've heard of her of the book, obviously. But. And there's a whole chapter on what happened in Poland after the Cold War. How Lech Walesa and the Solidarity were sold out by the capitalists who basically took over and turned it into what it is today. Yeah. Anyways, my parents said illegal small printing press in here when, like, I don't know, back when it was still illegal to distribute certain materials, and they'd have so I imagine some people from Solidarity could have been hanging out here for in this apartment. Yeah, in this apartment. Cool. But nice. I don't know too much about that. But yeah. But yeah, if you're interested, you should read the chapter. In Shock Doctrine is the book of Naomi Klein, and there's a whole chapter on what happened in Poland in the 80s and 90s. Right. What was I going to ask you? Oh, when you were in America, you were there for 10 years? Yeah, kind of on and off. Yeah. But yeah, basically 10 years. Did you experience anti-Polish, like, racism? Yeah, not really. Maybe, yeah, I mean, you can't really call it racism, I guess, right? But discrimination. Sure. Or jokes. No, discrimination would be more apt, even not without the Polish part, I think. It was just being an immigrant and
early on not speaking English that well.
Yeah.
You know, my parents, obviously, you can tell right away that they're immigrants, so they get treated a little differently. There's definitely that, especially in fucking suburbs of Dallas in Texas.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, which is, you know, mostly white, middle class, all that shit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you know, my mom didn't feel all that comfortable there, for example. I'm sure that's partly her fault, but, you know, they kind of let you know it, that you're not
from there.
You're not from there. But I can't really say
Yeah.
It was just traumatic for me at first when mostly just not speaking English and being there as a kid and all this stuff changing. But no. I didn't learn about Polish jokes until a while later. We were in Chicago for a minute, for like a few months, but I don't think they have that stereotype as much in Texas or Seattle even more.
I think it's an upstate New York thing, maybe. I don't know, because upstate New York is settled by like Italian and Polish immigrants.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's always Polak jokes. Like,
right,
he's just a Polak.
Yeah.
We grew up with a friend, hardcore Polish last name, and it's like everything about them was Polish. Like, even if it was just something that was just their personality trait, like, he's wearing sweatpants on a Sunday, Polak.
Fucking Polak, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. The problem with a lot of the like street jokes is they're not uniquely Polish in any way. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
I've heard the same thing said about, you know, I don't know, Irish or black people or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's like, not that. But some, I don't. I get where some of the stereotypes come from. Obviously, you know.
Who's the most recent immigrant here? Let's make fun of them. But then, like, the stereotypes of Polish people are way worse in Germany, actually.
Really?
Yeah, they're like bike thieves. That's like the big joke in Berlin.
Yeah, car thieves and bike thieves. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But every Polish person I've met is really nice. I actually dated a Polish girl last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, I mean, most of the ones that make it to Germany like seem pretty intelligent. I know a lot of like university students.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of laborers there, or you know, people, maybe some people taking advantage of the system or whatever. But each place you go is probably different. I'm sure there's a huge population in New York, but especially Chicago. Like, that's a whole other story, because you have generations of Polish people there, and I could easily make fun of Polish immigrants who have stayed there, you know. It's like they're totally different.
Oh, of course,
because they're Americanized. They still have certain Polish traits, but they're totally American, and it's this weird melding of cultures. You know? What's your this is what people ask in the U.S. always. It's like, what's your family? Where's your family
it's so
from?
important. Yeah,
we have to give ourselves additional identity because we're all white, and we need some kind of feeling of multiculturalism. Well, because my family's half German and Irish and
right. Yeah, we need that identity because otherwise, where are you from? A sea of parking lots and shopping malls. My town's unique because we have a Starbucks next to a Wendy's next to a Burger King instead of a Starbucks next to a Wendy's next to a McDonald's. It's very different in my town. My mom's side of the family, it's kind of mysterious, actually. I mean, all her grandparents are from Germanish areas, like I think Luxembourg, Austria. Some are from, where's Pils Urquell from? In Czech Republic. Pilsen. Yeah. One of my great grandmothers is from there, I think. I don't know. And then my dad's side, they're from Sicily.
Okay, right. Yeah.
His grandparents are from Sicily.
Interesting. German and Sicilian?
Yeah, I remember my grandfather speaking German in the house and swearing in German and stuff. Scheißdreck. You always say that. I had no idea what it meant until I moved to Europe.
Was that in any way a factor of you going to Berlin and thinking about
a little bit, because he had just passed away that year that I moved here. So before I even thought about moving here, I spontaneously just started becoming interested in the German language, and I don't know why, I just started trying to learn German before I even decided to come here.
So you already had some knowledge at that point. Is your German good enough to understand comedy in German?
Unless it's like in a weird dialect, If they're speaking High German, Hochdeutsch, I can understand it. But
cool.
But every region has its own dialect, and I'm sure it's the same here.
Not so much,
really?
I think. I mean, there's obviously like different accents, and some cities or regions have kind of like Silesia has its own kind of, you could say, dialect, or they use a bunch of words and ways of speaking that other people wouldn't understand, and then Kashube is a whole nother culture. But other than that, like, I don't think you'd ever have that problem where you can't communicate or something. You know, it's not. It's pretty sure everybody has their own local patriotism, and they think, oh, we're so unique here because we fucking put our pierogi on the left side of the plate. Yeah, exactly. You know, but it's but we're not that. We're pretty homogenous here, I think. Yeah. Or at least we like to think so. I don't know. Poland was kind of a melting pot, even though you can't really tell because everybody's more or less white. But I mean, all these cultures came through here, kind of. And
you seem to have far less immigrants here.
Yeah,
than in Berlin, at least.
Oh, definitely. Germany. I mean, in Warsaw, it's kind of it's probably the most you'll find, I guess. But yeah, not that many, and not assimilated probably as well. So
right. Plus, you have like this scary right-wing party in power now, right?
Yeah, that's kind of fucked now. I'm trying to not even pay too much attention to that.
I've heard them compared to the Jobbaks in Hungary.
It's a varied group, you know. It's not. You can't really say they're all the same.
Yeah, sure.
But some of those people are fucking crazy, and they definitely should not be anywhere near legislation. Yeah. So it's hard to say what's going to happen at this point. But they kind of have the majority. So
right. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's an emerging trend in Europe in general. All the countries seem to be sliding to the right.
Yeah.
It's fucking creepy.
I feel like we had a similar situation, like, I don't know, whatever it was, 8 years ago or something. And there was also some, like, kind of extreme people and parties in Parliament that people never thought they would get there.
Yeah.
And nobody gives a shit now. They're still in politics. But I don't know that anything really happened back then that we're already far enough behind. Like they didn't do much damage. I don't know about now because both the president and I don't know enough about politics to even be getting into that. So,
what do you think of animal bridges?
Animal bridges?
Yeah. You got that new highway that connects Berlin to Warsaw, and you have animal bridges. You have these wide bridges where like deer can go over the highway.
I don't know. I guess
pro animal bridge. I think they're awesome. I never saw one before. I thought they were so cool.
I just heard about it a little while ago. I think it's interesting. I don't know. I'd prefer to hear the opinion of someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about. It seems like a good idea to me.
Yeah, because the American highways, at least in New York, it's just constant deer attacks. Just deer trying to cross the highway.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Causing the accidents and stuff. So
sure. Well, how do they know to use the bridge?
I don't know. They're like super wide, and like the fences sort of lead them to them. And I don't know if they have like deer snacks on top of the bridge. Right. I don't know what deer eat. Yeah. Do you have like wild boars here?
Yeah.
Do they attack people?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Very seldom, I would guess.
Okay.
There might not be enough of them or anything to have enough confidence to just be mugging people on the street. But yeah, not in the middle of the city either. You kind of have to go to at least a smaller forest.
Okay. Sometimes there's wild boar attacks.
In Germany? Yeah. In Berlin?
No, not in Berlin, but outside.
Okay.
The Grunewald, I think, the forest right outside, right near where they decided to have the Holocaust. There's been boar attacks, I think.
Yeah.
I was in Slovakia over the summer, in the mountains, sort of in the middle, and I was sleeping in a tent every night on a field, and wild boar would come down from the mountains every night and like snort around like the grass looking for maggots. And I would just like lock myself in my tent and just fucking shiver. And like,
what do you do then?
Like, just fucking not die is what you do. I don't know. It was scary.
Yeah, I mean, my mom lives in an apartment building which is close to a more or less, what do you call it, man-created forest.
Man-planted. I like that.
It's not an actual collocation that exists, but next to a small forest. Right. I mean, it's kind of a city forest. Like people go to ride bikes and jog there and everything, but it's deep enough where there's animals there, and you could definitely find a boar. But I've never heard. Obviously, there must be other. It's the papers would rather write about how awful immigrants are. So.
Oh right, yeah. Well,
the boars are not a big problem in this case.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting off track.
Sorry, man.
But this is fun. No, this is fine.
You can edit it.
You can always cut something. All right. So you told me about how you got into stand-up, how you started in Berlin. What are you doing now? What are your next steps? Do you want to be stand-up your main thing as far as comedy, or do you want to eventually be writing or doing other kind of performances or acting or something?
I don't know. I'm having this dilemma in my brain right now.
Actually. Right now. Sorry for bringing it up. Huh?
It's okay, man. Like I said, I like if I could host my open mic every night and just have that be my job. That would be ideal.
Yeah. Just
small venue, small situation, everything just live.
Right.
I just really just like the moment of performing live. And
sure.
Like if I could do a whole, one of my goals has been to be able to do a whole solo show that's improvised.
Oh wow.
And have it be good, like have it be
sure.
so good that like people would swear I wrote it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tastes of that here and there when I do a show, but yeah, so far I haven't been able to figure that out. I for a while I was planning on going to Fringe Festival. I can't do it right now because I don't have the money. I wanted to take a solo show to Fringe Festival in. Do you know the Fringe in Edinburgh?
Yeah, yeah.
I've been there 3 times, but just as part of a group show.
Uh-huh.
I would like to do a solo show there, and either something that's more in this political vein or something that's completely improvised.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know how to do that. There's a handful of comedians who do completely improvised solo stuff, including my friend John Robertson, who was just in Berlin. He lives in London. Completely improvised stand-up. I saw him do 30 minutes in Leipzig a couple weeks ago, and it was just breathtaking. He just comes out, he starts just kind of observing the room and just, making fun of the room, and then kind of the front row, and then just works his way into the crowd further and further, and just finds little patterns and like little stories that are happening. And he's got amazing stage presence, and he'll just slip into some kind of character or some other kind of character. I don't know how he did it, man. He's a genius, and I lean towards that. I want to be able to do that. But.
Sure, it's more or less based around the crowd and the place, that he doesn't do topical or material or anything like that.
He actually I saw him do it twice. So I think he slips into a couple things that you could see are kind of maybe written or topical, but it's just in this seamless flow of just improv in the moment.
I'm sure it's impressive when you see it live. Yeah. But I'm just wondering, because this is interesting. Like I've talked to, because I know some comedians that are stand-up comics that are do improv as well, or do one guy that does mostly improv, and he does really well with stand-up, but he's not even that into it, which is always kind of funny. He's like he comes and he kills, and he's like, nah, he goes
whatever
to do his own thing somewhere else. But I always wonder, like, people say, I just, that was on the spot, whatever. But if you're performing all the time and riffing or whatever, it's kind of like you're writing material up there, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you never refer back to that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's not, I guess what I'm trying to say is at a certain point, how much of that is actually improvised and how much is you just calling back on what you've, done before or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I've found that I have what I call ghost jokes, which are like jokes that I repeatedly do in the moment. Yeah. But I never wrote down or I never planned. Right. They're never a thing that's in my set list going into a show, but they just happen over and over again. It'd be great if I could get to a situation where that'd be my entire show. They say, do you like Patrice O'Neill?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen that much of his stuff, but sure.
They say like he never wrote anything down. I don't know if this is true or not.
That's what I heard, I guess, yeah.
Then he would just go out there and just start talking, and that would be his show.
Yeah.
But I never saw him like 3 nights in a row or something where I could tell if he...
Sure, yeah. Well, no, I'm pretty sure he has... I mean, he recorded specials and stuff, so I'm imagining he has to have bits. Like, you could hear him, even in recordings, him say almost the exact same thing, right? But maybe he just didn't use pen and paper that much.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, he started at, age 15 or something? Yeah. Okay. All the greats have started at 15. Like, what the fuck are we doing? How old are you?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm 32, so...
You just started?
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Yeah, I started around 30, right? Yeah. And I'm like, what? And, like, I see how much better I've gotten since I started, where I can get on stage and just feel confident and know that something funny will happen. I'm not going to bomb, really. Knock on... Is this wood? That's wood. Yeah. Knock on wood. Like, I don't bomb tonight. I don't know. I'm a little worried, but just knowing like how much better, how much I've improved in 6 years. Like, if you were 15 and you started and you're now 40 or whatever, like, Dave Chappelle. Sure. Just thinking about how good you would be. Like, I feel like Patrice O'Neill towards the end of his life was just floating in a constant sea of truth, and he was just like, just constantly seeing and talking and just like constantly expressing his truth all the time, whether it was on stage or on the radio or just in person. Yeah. There was never any difference between him on stage and him off stage.
That's probably true.
I feel like he hit like this John Coltrane like perfection of being, where he could just get on stage and just funny just poured out of him, and it was beautiful, funny. Like, have you seen like Elephant in the Room?
Yeah, I think that's the only special I've seen from him.
The Mr. P is his album. His most, that he gets into like the economic crisis and stuff in that. It's fucking brilliant. Yeah, really good shit.
You didn't have a problem with all his misogynistic shit?
I got a problem with that, but
but he's still fucking funny, right? It's
I mean, I don't have a problem with it because my comedy partner Caroline, who's a lesbian, like. She doesn't. She loves him. He's her favorite comedian. So I think for her, it's like funny is funny. You know.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and you could see like he's still a good person underneath that like sort of misogyny.
Mm-hmm. It seems like that's what everybody said about him, is that they're so naturally funny. And I don't know what constitutes a good person to be. I'm not that sure about it. You know, it's just so much gray area. But yeah.
So if I have any goal as a comedian, that would be it, to hit that level. And I know that's basically impossible. Like. You'd have to get the amount of stage time he got for that long. Or I'd have to double the amount of stage time. I think about it mathematically, you know?
Sure,
like, How much stage time did Patrice O'Neill get between age 15 and when he passed away as a genius? Compared to how much what's my rate of stage time right now? It's not just stage time, it's effective stage time. Like, how do you... I think we fetishize stage time too much. And people will just do gig after gig after gig, and they'll become these open mic creatures who don't live and don't reflect on their experience.
Right.
And they don't have a life outside, and they don't improve. They don't listen to the recording of their set and find those little places where they could have tightened up, done this. They just do the same set over and over again and feel like that's enough to make them great.
Yeah, I think surely people fall into that, maybe especially if they're getting paid and nobody demands more of them. I guess some people will do that.
Yeah.
Here, it's still often a question of you can't even get enough shows, I think. You know, even for people who are at a decent level and are
in Polish, you can't get enough shows.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to hustle to work at it. Like it's not a matter of okay, people aren't inviting me because something. It's just there's not that many places that you can go.
Do you have your own show?
No, I don't. Which you know, I probably should have, but at this point, it's like. In Warsaw, I'm not even sure there's room. Like I would have to maybe find a niche or something. Like maybe another open mic because there's not really a regular one or something like that. But
my first open mic at Joe's Bar, which I hosted for like 2 years, it was a mix of comedy, poetry, and music because I knew there weren't enough comedians yet in Berlin at the time, and there weren't enough people that wanted to see comedy. So it was just an excuse for me to get stage time.
Sure.
So I would host it, and there'd be 10 acts, and I would just riff in between everything. It didn't matter if it was music or poetry. I was still doing comedy riffs between, and that was a way that I could gain experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Without having there to be a whole comedy thing.
Did you get laughs in between the poet and the folk guitar player?
Dude, I was so drunk. I assume I did. I don't know. I could be wrong. There was some weird nights, but it was great. It was a great experience.
Hosting is I think great. Great experience for any comic. You know, there's as far as the Polish scene, there's a handful of comedians that are touring and kind of making a living off that. Just a handful.
But in general, it's a new idea to do stand up.
It's still kind of a new idea, yeah. And I think we're kind of at this point where it's really actually becoming popular. The media are sort of aware of it now. You know, there's stuff on TV you can see, but it's just like okay, they do a stand-up segment on TV, but they don't really know how to do it. So it's fucked. Like the audience isn't prepared, or there's something else wrong.
Right.
Or you know, you have all these. Well, not all these, because there's maybe, I don't know, maybe 50 comedians, all of them, like in Poland, I imagine. But there's just people that shouldn't, you know, they're not ready to be up there, or they're just stealing material or shit like that. And people buy it because they just don't know. They're not. We don't have a stand-up educated audience yet, right? Obviously, so. What's
like the best city for Polish stand-up? Is it here, or?
I mean, I would say Warsaw, just because I guess the amount of people and comics and opportunities is just it's the largest number wise. I would say I don't know if it's the best city. Like Wrocław is pretty interesting. Like Jim Williams over there, American guy, he does all kinds of open mics and evenings there, and he always gets a good turnout of like expats and students from abroad and all this stuff. So the crowd is there. It's always a pretty good show. You could do crowd work there because, you know, people from different cultures or whatever. But there's no comics there. There's not enough comics. So in other cities, there's like more comics, but not enough people know about stand-up. And so I think Warsaw is just the capital because of size mostly, and TV being here and all that.
Yeah.
But
are there many female comedians?
Not many, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the proportion is probably kind of average for considering the number of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could probably name like 5 at this point that people would maybe recognize. So yeah, not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Berlin? Is that?
Yeah, it's probably also proportional. I mean, we try to encourage female comedians.
Sure.
My open mic every Tuesday, you know, it was like 8-9 performers, and usually like 2 of them will be women.
Okay.
And then, yeah, my comedy partner Caroline is one of the funniest people I know. She's one of the best. Most people say she's the best comedian in Berlin.
Okay. What's her last name?
Clifford. Caroline Clifford. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if there's something about the form of comedy in general or stand-up in particular that women don't like, or if it's just too competitive or it's just too masculine and macho. I mean, there's still audience members who are shitty and just say things like, they'll come up to Caroline after a show and she'll clearly have been the best comedian that night, and they'll be like, oh, it was pretty good for a woman. Or like, why don't you do like normal jokes? Why do you got to do jokes about like your vagina and like growing up as a woman and being a lesbian? Because that's my life. Like,
yeah, exactly.
All these men just did jokes about penises. Like, why can't I tell these jokes? Yeah, sometimes I think women don't do stand up because they're just too smart.
Right. They have other endeavors that maybe are more fulfilling.
Yeah, but also like maybe there's not enough community feeling at times.
Sure.
Or just in general, women are not encouraged to speak their mind the way men are.
Yeah, I think you probably listed most of the potential reasons. I've had a couple of female comedians on, and I ask them about it, you know, cautiously, because obviously, I don't know what their attitude is, but I kind of feel like, you know, for them it's also a hack question, like, so what's it like being a woman in comedy? It's like, I think Chelsea Peretti or something was saying, she's like, okay, it's like telling jokes, but I have a bit of vagina between my legs all the time. It's like, okay, it's not, you know, the fact that I'm even asking the question is I guess a form of you know, discrimination or something, but I am curious. Yeah.
I learned long ago not to introduce female comedians by highlighting the fact that they're a female comedian.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah. What's your observation? Like, does that hurt their show, or just they get pissed off, or what?
Caroline told me not to do it. So
okay, all right.
I don't know. She's just like, just focus on them as a comedian.
Sure.
And as a person, not as like their specific thing. And like we have a couple of gay comedians as well. I mean, she's a gay comedian,
right?
Male gay comedians. I don't introduce her. This next comedian is a gay comedian. Like, I just picture like a hack fucking host would do that. You know? I don't want to be that guy. So I'll just say where they're from or something, some anecdote or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to set them up to look good, you know? You don't want people to just focus on their boobs or whatever.
Yeah.
But we've got some really, really great, funny female comedians like coming up in the scene. So it's pretty exciting.
Earlier you were talking about middle class white guys and stuff. What isn't that kind of changing? Like, it seems like they're even promoting more diversity in comedy. Like they're just looking for people that are, you know, interesting in other ways. Or do you see that in Berlin? Because it's also kind of like a fairly open community, artistic community there, or society. Like, I
mean, our scene is fairly diverse.
Yeah.
And the German scene right now, like the official, I mean, like the on TV scene, is still kind of white, still kind of racist. Like, if you're a person of color or migration background, as they call it, you know, there still tends to be fairly racist stuff, or there's expectation to do, like, if you're an Arab person, you got to do your Arab with a bomb joke.
Yeah.
Or if you're an African, there's this one guy, his whole bit is that he's a janitor, kind of thing. But I think the younger generation is starting to expect, you know, that a diverse lineup doesn't mean that they have to be racial stereotypes of themselves. Yeah. They can actually just be people. Yeah. And it's definitely getting better in America. There's that new guy who's he's actually coming to Berlin, Hari Kondolobu.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's opening up things, I think, racially.
Okay. Where is he performing in Berlin?
At the Comedy Cafe Berlin.
Are you organizing that? Or?
No, my friends are.
Okay.
I'm just going to watch.
It's like not a big venue or anything.
No, it's just like 70, 80 seats. He happens to be in London for something else, so he's just going to come by.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to pay him a lot of money up front?
I don't know what they're doing. It's their production. I don't know anything
it's their
to do with
business anyway.
Yeah, it's like this thing. Like, do you reward people just because they're funny, or should there be? Or I mean, like, you know, sometimes
is it enough to be funny?
We'll have this dilemma all the time where we will, you know, because we book this open mic every Tuesday, and we'll get people applying to do the show, and we look at the list of comedians who wanted to do the show. It's always between like 15 and 20 people. And we have to decide what kind of show do we want to program. Happens that proportionally speaking, most of the funny comedians we know are middle-class white dudes.
Yeah.
There's other people, though, that are also of a more diverse background who are also very funny. So we try to balance it that way. But then, you know, once or twice, we do have to put someone in just for the diversity of the show. And then, you know, half the time they'll surprise us and actually be really good or better than we thought.
Okay.
So it's like almost this like comedy affirmative action.
Right, yeah, I was going to say, is like how far should that go?
Yeah, how far should that go? And then like I mean I went as far as to say, like, Caroline, I think we should have an all women show just to encourage female comedians. She says, no, that is insulting, that is patronizing.
Yeah. And
all the other female comedians have told me the same thing. So I backed off that idea.
Right, yeah, because you just mentioned earlier, like, you know, not to introduce a woman comedian as female being her defining characteristic, but some female comedians will have women's, or like in Seattle there's a women's only open mic or something, or like a friendly for stuff like that. So not everybody finds it insulting, I guess. You know, some people are, I
guess for a man to put it on, I don't know, I'm just not touching that topic.
Okay, yeah, sure.
We just try to influence things in a more subtle way.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, so out of, I don't know, what, a couple dozen comedians, how many women performing at this point? Or I guess most of them are like open micers, yeah, so you wouldn't...
Yeah, well, there's this woman, Tamika Campbell. She performs in English and German. She's been on TV a bunch. She's actually making a living from it as a German comedian. She's from the States. She's African-American from Brooklyn. Yeah, she's great. She's really funny.
How many Americans do you know there in Berlin?
Too many.
Too many.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
More American friends than you had in, I don't know.
In America?
Yeah.
No.
No,
I've got a lot of Scottish friends.
Yeah.
Canadian friends, German friends, plenty of German friends. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's pretty diverse.
Are they all artists, or they for various reasons, like, I don't know, IT workers or something? Like they're not.
Yeah, there's a bunch of IT workers.
There's no common defining trait that they have.
Translators, kindergarten teachers. Okay. One works for Daimler as an engineer. Mm-hmm. Just various backgrounds.
And what about the audiences you have? Is it mostly young people, students, and stuff, or
mostly. Yeah. Well, Berlin's like the hipster capital of Europe now, so it's a lot of like young creative types. Yeah. And especially in our neighborhood where we do the show of Neukölln. Okay. Like Erasmus students, or more of your older expats with real jobs. Right. And then just Germans too. I mean, there's a lot of young Germans speak great English, and they come and check it out. Get a lot of just local Berliners. Yeah,
but still not many people over 30 or 40, or like...
I'm almost 40, bro.
Yeah, okay. But I'm asking about the audience.
Yeah, not so much. Not so much. We host one show.
Early adopters, yeah.
Yeah, we host one show at the English Theater Berlin, and that tends to draw an older audience, so we'll get more older people there, so you kind of have to tone down the dirty stuff a little bit.
Yeah. So what are your observations from developing like a pioneering comedy scene in a sense, or like what advice could you give us, or maybe any strong reflections that come from that?
Well, my experiences of starting a pioneering English language comedy scene in a non-English speaking country. So it's a little bit different. But,
sure, but yeah.
So I have opinions on that specifically, but in terms of starting a comedy scene, I mean, just like in the beginning, it just becomes all about stage time and community, and just trying to put up as many shows as possible with good enough audiences that people can actually gain confidence. Like if you got more open mics than audience and you just have a situation where it's 5 fucking people in the audience or just comedians in the audience, that's terrible. Like that hurts. I don't know, just find the small bars and restaurants and cafes. Like, is there like a hipster district of Warsaw or?
There's kind of a problem with that because
Bohemian area.
Actually, Mokotów might be this area and kind of north might be considered that in a way, but we don't really have like much of club or districts or anything like that.
Yeah.
Places where there's only cafes or whatever. Not
yeah,
so much.
We're very spoiled in Berlin for that. Is the thing.
It's all kind of spread out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we started with that show, Comedy and Sin. We were doing it monthly. And my comedy partner at the time, Ray, he disagreed with me, but I just took anyone who wanted to perform and give them a couple minutes, 10 minutes. We try to be a little discerning, but, you know, they invite their friends, and then they realize, some of them, if they're reflective enough, will realize, I should get better at this. So they work harder, and eventually they start their own shows. I think it's all about regularity, I think, and just accepting and not judging too many people right away, not talking shit too much right away, and helping each other come up. Like
that's good advice. I think a lot of people should take that one to heart.
Yeah, I mean, at times, like I or other comedians, more experienced comedians, will watch someone's set and give them feedback afterwards, or they'll ask us to do it, and like that seems to help each other. But again, like in the English scene, at least, there's this built-in glass ceiling where we're only gonna get so good, and then no one's gonna get famous from it. No one's gonna really make money from it. So we're not so competitive. But for you guys, I mean, you want to build that infrastructure, and just teaching people about comedy too, like having a blog. I don't know what your podcast situation is, but some German friends of mine just have a blog where they just write about what's going on in the world stand-up comedy scene, and just trying to educate Germans about the greater stand-up comedy world. Yeah,
mine was the first stand-up podcast and the only so far.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there's one guy that writes a blog kind of about stand-up. It's extramik, but he's more or less personal, kind of like his own writings and stuff. And
we had a movie theater that was showing stand-up comedy specials for a while.
Oh, really?
People were just going to that just as connoisseurs of comedy.
Yeah.
Or we would have nights where we would just all get together and just put a beamer on and watch like stand-up specials on the wall and like analyze them, break them down. Yeah. We had a thing called Suck Club where younger comedians would record their sets and come to us, me and some of the other experienced comedians, and we'd go through their set and try to figure out, not tell them what to write or what to do, but just try to figure out why their sets didn't go well.
Okay, yeah.
Like they would record a set where they bombed, and like we'd listen to it and be like, oh, you should have done this, or that timing was wrong, or this joke was evil, or whatever. That seemed to help people. Yeah, it's a lot of like community stuff like that helps, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it really helps to have some kind of bond. I feel like here it's already broken up or kind of individualized. Like, oh, these people don't like this guy or whatever. Even though the scene is so small, there's already fractions and stuff, which is kind of ridiculous. Now, obviously, there's competition, but it's not really about that. We need to create more opportunities rather than squander or worry about the ones.
No, you should. Yeah. Well, me and some of the other people that start shows, we also have this American go-get-'em fucking entrepreneur attitude sort of thing.
I had that when I came back from Seattle, and then a year in Poland brought me right back down, back down to everybody's level. I'm like, might not work, but
No, it'll be great. We'll just do it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no, that helps definitely. But you were saying about starting an English scene in foreign countries. You have any specific notes about that you think are significant? Or?
Just respect the local culture. Like, we're really lucky in that we have a bunch of Germans and other Europeans that are involved in our scene, and they really like English comedy's ability to bring people from diverse backgrounds together. But it can also be a force of like gentrification, and like you could be doing shows in a neighborhood that's traditionally German or anarchist or squats or something, and you just don't respect any of the local history of any of the local people or anything like that, and don't think about comedy's role as a way to like increase the property value of a neighborhood, softening it up to real estate speculation, etc. So
really, comedy has that kind of influence.
All arts do,
or any kind of
all the arts do.
art initiative in Berlin.
Yeah, no, in anywhere, like the creative, us artists and creatives, we can, if we're not paying attention, we can just be used and then thrown out.
Yeah, no, that's true. I was just wondering if comedy has that draw or impact enough to change a neighborhood the way.
No, not directly, but it becomes part of a culture. Then there's another cafe and there's another bar. I mean, there's various things. There's also techno parties happening, art galleries, yoga. I mean, it's But in general, there's like this movement in the world to like redevelop the city and make it less working class and make it more of a playground for the middle class and the rich. And I don't know, just I've felt like I've been part of that movement, and it's made me kind of uncomfortable, and especially as an old left-wing person. But I've been right in the middle of doing that in Berlin, so I have to acknowledge that I'm as part of the problem as anyone else, because I wanted to get laid and do good comedy. I don't know. But the last year has been tough because of what's happening in America with the racial shit, and then my brother passing away. So that's why right now I'm not quite sure where I want to go yet with all this stuff. But I'm happy to be in Warsaw. Thanks for having me, guys.
Right on, man. I'm not gonna say anything about your show because this will probably air in a month.
Paul, it was amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Good job.
Oh man, that joke about the waxing your ass, that killed. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta do that bit. No, I don't.
I have a stupid joke about waxing my ass. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Did you actually do it? Did you wax your ass?
No. Okay. You're right. Maybe it'll work better if I actually do it. And
you have to do it now.
Speak from experience. That's true. Yeah, no, it's about the potential of it and discussing it with your partner as like part of a relationship bit.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
there's waxing, then there's the next level, which is bleaching.
Right. I don't know how far I want to go there, but maybe you got to try different things in life. Why not?
Yeah, I wish I could speak Polish so I could actually watch some of your shows here.
Yeah. I mean, you could listen to Jim Williams, I guess.
Okay.
Have you heard of him? No, because he's only.
I think I heard about him. He's only been in Wrocław.
Well, no, he's only popular in Wrocław and in Poland.
Okay. He's from the States, though.
Yeah, from the U.S. But he's been living in Wrocław for 10, 11 years. He's a wife and kids there.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of guys like that in Europe. Like there's a guy, Joe Egan, he's from Canada. He lives in Sweden. He's got a wife and kid, ex-wife and kid.
Right.
And he produces comedy around there. Then I know there's a guy in Budapest who's been doing comedy there for like a decade or more. And there's a woman in Rome that's been doing it there for a while. Like there's these little pockets of like.
I mean, it's interesting. It's a different way of kind of breaking in, I think. Because if you're stuck in New York or something, and I imagine it can be really discouraging. Like,
that's the other thing. I mean,
I thought about going there as well. Yeah, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm cut out for that city even. Like I'm not
that
excited about the thought.
I love Berlin more than I love the idea of working my ass off to break through the American or British comedy scene. Yeah. So I was just like, I'll just make my own comedy scene.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and that's more fun. Yeah. It has been more fun, I think. But then I go to New York, no one knows who the fuck I am. Like, don't you know, I got this really popular open mic in Neukölln in Berlin.
Yeah.
We are not Camus, don't you guys? No, we have no idea who you are. Get off stage, asshole. Yeah. Stop telling us jokes about Germany.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like, we were doing this small tour with like the group I'm with, and because there's like nine of us on the tour, we could fill rooms of several hundred people.
Oh wow!
And it was generally a success. But then I'm going solo in some town, and it's like, okay, we could barely fill 50 or 70. And it's like back to this brings me back down to earth real quick.
It's gonna take a while, man.
Of course,
it's a new scene.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Paul Salamone.
Right. Thanks. How do I say your full name?
You can try.
Let me try.
Gawel Feliga.
Gawel Feliga.
Feliga, yeah.
Is that Polish, your last name?
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's not Polish joke Polish, but it's Polish. I think. I mean, originally it might have been from elsewhere. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know the whole lineage.
Okay.
But yeah.
Chris told me to call you Gaywell.
Yeah, there's jokes about that, and not even I wrote them. Like somebody was, but funny enough, they never actually called me that in the U.S. I got all kinds of Or no, maybe they did.
Did you come up with an American-ish name too, or did you just
No, I refused to.
That's good actually.
I don't know why, but when I was younger, I probably would have done it. It would have been easier. Now I refuse to change my name. But when I was in Seattle more recently, it's still hard. I still try to think of ways to explain to people how. Because if somebody knows a couple languages, maybe it's not hard to grasp. But when you tell somebody, okay, the W is pronounced like a V. It's like a Latin V, okay? And then the E is a short E, and then there's an L with a dash through it. Sounds like the American W. Once you get, they're like, what? No, fuck that.
I'm not trying.
It's almost like GAVO, dude. It's like Gavo. Yeah, okay, I can understand that. That's usually where I draw the line.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you.